failed. You have enough people and circumstances already against you. Don't be against yourself. You have to be at peace with being under construction. You're going to have some messy places, some things you don't understand, some weaknesses that you haven't overcome. The accuser will work overtime, reminding you of everything you've done wrong, how you're not going to reach your destiny. Instead of believing those lies, going around guilty, no passion, why don't you turn it around? Father, thank you that you're still working on me. I know this mess is a sign that I'm under construction. Just like with Abraham, despite my shortcomings, despite my failures, you're still going to get me to where I'm supposed to be. When you live like that, God will say about you what He said about Abraham. You did not waver in your faith. We see this with Peter, one of Jesus' disciples. He was hot-tempered. He used bad language. One time he got angry and cut off a soldier's ear. One moment he was defending Jesus, a man of great courage. Another moment he was denying Jesus, swearing to the authorities that he didn't know Him. People could have looked at him. Peter, you're a mess. You have issues. God looked at him and said, under construction. The difference between how people saw him and how God saw him is God had the plans. God could see what he was going to become. People just saw his flaws, his hot temper, his instability. This is why it's so important that we don't judge people. Don't write anybody off. We can't see their plans. We don't know what God has designed for them. We see people that make mistakes, have weaknesses. We think, boy, they're never going to get it together. We don't realize they're under construction. God's still working on them. I have enough weaknesses of my own to deal with. I don't have time to judge somebody else for their weaknesses. But I love the fact that Jesus chose Peter even though He knew he was hot-tempered. He knew he was impatient. He knew he used bad language. He didn't choose him because he was perfect. He chose him because he had the blueprint. He knew he wasn't a finished product. Peter ended up becoming one of the most influential, respected leaders. What am I saying? Where you are now is not necessarily important. It's where you're going. That mess did not disqualify you. The mess means you're under construction. When you see other people that look like they have it all together, don't feel bad about yourself. Everyone is under construction in some area. We all have some messy places. Here's the point. Let God make you and mold you. Stay pliable. We should be better this year than we were last year. Don't let the mess become permanent. The addiction, the hot temper, the negative attitude, that is not who you are. Keep growing. Keep resisting the temptation. Keep saying no to carnal desires. Every time you do the right thing, the next time it gets a little bit easier. And there's nothing wrong with being under construction, but there is something wrong with not making any progress. Do your part. Be willing to change. God will do His part. He'll help you to come up higher. Sometimes when you see a construction site, you can't tell if they're tearing something down or building something up. I was downtown one time. There was this big pile of dirt, several stories high. Over on the other side, there was this pile of debris, metal and bricks. They had torn down this small structure. They were digging the foundation for a huge skyscraper. There was a hole probably 100 feet in the ground. They were pouring these deep piers. The taller the building, the deeper the foundation has to go. What's interesting is you can't see the foundation. It's underground. It's hidden. But you could argue that it's the most important part. They could build a huge tower, but if they didn't take time to put the proper foundation, it wouldn't last. And there are times that we know we're supposed to be going up. We have big dreams. God's put promises in our hearts, but it feels the opposite. Like we're going down. We're not growing, not seeing good breaks. What we may not realize is God is working on our foundation.